Hello, people of Earth, and welcome to the Gabbing While Gaming podcast. It's not good when you cannot say your own podcast name the correct way. I'm here with Jester, or Jester One Gamble at Twitch, and we're going to be playing some Mass Effect today, going over some important gaming issues in the gaming community, including Nintendo removing Switch emulations from the Steam Deck off of YouTube. Amazon Luna, is it worth it? I tested it last night. Artisan builds screws over, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I think it's Kapaya. The Nvidia hack, and all the new video game movies and shows coming out. And are they good or bad? Because there are a ton. Now, I just met Jester about a week ago. How you doing, Jester? I am able to hear you. I don't see your cam anymore, though. There we go. I see you now. Now you're visible. How long have you been streaming?
It has not been a constant like weekly stream or monthly stream. I kind of took a 8-month break because I guess I got down or depressed really, and I just lost all desire to stream.
That's understandable. I mean, everybody gets down occasionally. I know I wasn't down, but I quit gaming for like 10 years just because I decided it wasn't for me at the time.
For 10 years? Oh, wow.
Then I broke both my legs, and I didn't have anything else to do, so I started playing Borderlands 2, and I've been gaming again ever since.
Wow, that's something. Give me a minute here. I need to try to. That's the game. I'm still trying to figure out how to get this volume down from the game.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I can't hear it.
Well, that doesn't make me feel any better. Yeah, sure, we'll go soldier. No. Everything looks good.
What got you into streaming?
What got me into streaming was the fact that I've been living here in Germany for, well, at the time it was 4 years when I started streaming. I didn't have a job. I went from working in America like 40 hours a week, well, over 40 hours a week. I was working probably 80 hours every like 2 weeks. No, not 80 hours, probably 120 hours every 2 weeks. And I went from doing that almost 7 days a week to where I had no job. And for me, I moved here thinking I can find work without a problem. I'm not going to have any issues. I went into moving into Germany thinking it will be just as easy as like finding work in America. Well, I turned out to be completely wrong, and my wife lets me know that every single time. But basically, I got into streaming to keep my sanity because I was struggling to learn German, and nobody in the town I live in speaks English. So I didn't have anybody to speak to besides my family. And I love video games, and I've always wanted to just show or just basically just play games, and if anybody wanted to watch, they can watch. I found out about Twitch by like I was playing Fortnite when I found out about Twitch. Somebody I played with and like my group, he told me he streams. And that's basically how it started. I'm like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. So it's been a long, difficult road because I didn't have a good mic. I had an okay computer, but I didn't have 2 monitors and all this. So it was a lot of learning while I go.
I can definitely understand that. I'm still learning. I literally just started streaming because I wanted to do a podcast, and I found I enjoy it. I get to meet new people. It's kind of fun. So um, I'm enjoying it. Now, what do you primarily stream?
What did you say?
What do you primarily stream? I know that you're a variety streamer, but do you have any games that you prefer?
Um, I try to like for me since I try to stick to a 3 day week. Like I try to stream for 3 days during the week. My schedule always changes, but I've when I first started, I just basically streamed whatever I felt like playing at the time. But now I try to stick to 7 Days to Die. Um, I'm currently, since I'm in the Lost Ark Creator program, I'm streaming Lost Ark. And my third game is typically the New World or Borderlands 3.
Borderlands. There you go. That's my stuff right there.
Well,
Uh,
my friend hooked me up with Borderlands 2, like the oh God, I forget. It was like the big collector's pack or whatever. He just gifted it to me when it was on sale on Steam, and I really enjoyed it. I fell in love with Claptrap. And when Borderlands 3 came out, I'm like, I gotta play it. Like it looked really good. I watched him stream it. I watched other people on YouTube play it, and I'm just like, this is looks good. And it's the first actual Borderlands I've actually completed.
Now, which one do you like better, two or three?
Um, well, that's hard because I never really beat Borderlands 2, but as far as I got like halfway through Borderlands 2, um, it's a toss up. Like for me, I like Flak. I love Flak. I love what you can do with them. So I would have to say I like Borderlands 3 better.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm a bigger fan of Borderlands 2. Now, granted, I put like 100 hours into it when my legs were broken. So I've beat it probably 50 times now, run through every DLC. In Borderlands 3, I haven't even got off the first world.
Well, you haven't even got off of Pandora.
No, I'm still on Pandora. I pick it up, I play it for a little while, and then I'm just like, I'll come back to it. And 2 months later, I come back and I'm like, I'll come back to it.
Well,
So,
that's how I was because when I started playing Borderlands, I picked it up when it was on, I want to say the Steam Summer Sale last year. And I played it for, oh God, I don't know, probably a good 50, 60 hours of just like messing around because I don't really stick to like the quest. I just kind of run around killing things and just looking for stuff and basically like loot everything I can over and over again, trying to find the best weapons. And I just put it down and I came back to it after probably 2 months, like you, and just I'm like I got to finish it. So I pushed to finish the game, and I finished it, and I'm like, all right.
yeah, I really need to actually just sit down and play it. I have, I run into the problem where I have so many games that I need to test to review that I never have time to play the games I want.
Well, I hear that. Definitely understand that one, considering like I have a 3 terabyte hard drive and it's slammed full of games. My Steam library and my Epic Games library is starting to match each other.
You would be shocked if you heard how big my hard drive is.
For what you do, I would assume it's anywhere probably over 8 terabytes or more.
I have a 14 terabyte NAS, two computers that have 8 terabytes in them, another computer that has 6 terabytes, another computer that has 2 terabytes,
That's a lot of computers.
and I only have 2 terabytes free.
Well, you have more terabytes free on your computer than I do. I think I've hit the limit on my SSD and my hard drive.
Yeah, that's the problem I ran into too. That's why I decided to go ahead and build a NAS and just put them all in the NAS.
Ah,
That way I can play them all over the house too.
well, I've got two computers. I got one for me, that's my personal computer. Then I built another one for my kids for Christmas, and it was their Christmas gift from me so they can play Minecraft in the living room. And it's turned into Minecraft, Jurassic World, and whatever other games they want to play.
Oh, is it the Jurassic World Evolution?
My son has both of them.
My wife went to visit her parents, and her little sister, who's like 8, showed her Jurassic World Evolution. She's now addicted to that game.
I can't lie. Like I played the first one, and I enjoyed it. I watched my son play the second one just because I like watching him like do it. There's like for me, there's games I like playing, and there's games I can sit there and watch. And for me, like Jurassic World Evolution and Evolution 2, I can watch him play it and without even worrying. I'll
Gotcha.
give him my little 2 cent every once in a while. It's like, hey, well, you should try building it like this.
I wanted to get into some topics here, but out of curiosity, where is your accent from? It almost sounds like a Jersey accent.
Oh my god. I honestly have no idea where my accent's from, considering I was born and raised in Virginia. So I don't know where the accent comes from.
Oh, I mean, that's kind of out east. It's an Eastern accent, so.
Well, Virginia, that's like east and right, almost like right in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, you're right there by what? Uh,
North
Maryland.
Carolina and Washington D.C.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I drive through Virginia every time I go to Maryland, so that's everything I know about Virginia.
Well, that's like really amusing. I haven't heard anybody say I sound like I'm from Jersey in a long, like in 7 years.
Okay, so let's get into a topic here. Have you had a chance to try Amazon Luna yet?
Actually, I have not because it is only available in America.
That would make it incredibly hard.
Yes, it
And
would
I'm
unless I
sure
go with
even
that.
if you could
What is
play it
it?
with the
The
VPN, it just would not go well because of the speed reduction.
Yeah, that whole thing. That's what I was going to say. Like, only way I would be able to try it is if I did the VPN thing, the VPN, like websites and stuff. But for me, I'm like, I'll just wait until America like puts it through its paces, and then I can hopefully eventually play it. But I've read like the articles on it because it's something that I'm really interested in. Because if I can avoid having to fork out hundreds of dollars on like downloads for my computer, it would be really useful to have, a subscription where I can pay, I don't know, like 10 for me it would be probably €10, which would be right around the same in America, like 10 USD.
Now, do you
But I
guys
think that would be nice because then I can just have a library of games where I can just access it at any time and play whatever I want.
do you guys have Game Pass over there by chance?
Yes, we do have the Microsoft Game Pass, but for me, I can't like bring myself to like to pay for it, like to do it, like to actually just subscribe to it because I'm already a Prime member, and I'm like, well, the Amazon Luna, it can kind of work hand in hand with one another.
Yeah, that's understandable too. I mean, if you're already paying for something, why pay for something else?
Well, exactly, but like I keep looking, like going back to the Microsoft Game Pass, and I'm like, they've acquired Blizzard. So for me, I'm like, if they add games from Blizzard to the Microsoft Game Pass, I might just consider it.
I will say that I think Game Pass Ultimate is worth it, even if you don't own an Xbox, which
Yeah.
sounds weird because that includes Game Pass for Xbox and Game Pass for PC. But the advantage of Ultimate is you have the game streaming too.
How
So
so?
you can play like I can load my web browser or a web browser on anything, whether it's Windows, Linux, my cell phone,
Yep.
and I can play Game Pass games right there on my phone or right there on anything, and they're essentially Xbox console games.
Well, that's awesome.
So, and
Like I didn't know you can use your phone.
yeah, you can use your phone. I actually just picked up a controller for my phone for like $15, and hey, buddy. But I
That's
picked up a
my
controller for about $15. I really enjoy it. I work doing delivery driving, and there's times where I'm just stuck in my car. So, I just pull out my controller, pull out my cell phone, and start playing some games.
That's awesome. Like I ended up having a controller. I picked up like dirt cheap from like we don't have Craigslist here. We have it's eBay, but it's eBay local is what it is. It's just like Craigslist. I ended up picking up a controller that can work on computer, PlayStation, Xbox, and cell phones. But that thing ended up started it developed when I was playing Elite Dangerous. I noticed it kind of just like I kept having to fight the controller, like the joystick for movement all the time. So if I let go, my ship would just start spinning in a circle, and I'm like, yeah, I think it's time to get rid of the controller.
Do you happen to still have it laying around?
No, it got destroyed. I think I gave it to my son, and it's like ended up in pieces.
Too bad. I could actually tell you how to fix that. There's a setting in Steam to make a dead zone, so it can stop that.
It didn't matter for me. Like I replaced it with another cheap wired controller.
Well, if it happens again, just let me know. I'll teach you how to set the dead zone in there because that can make a huge difference.
Yeah, I
Almost.
think I'll end up picking up a flight joystick next time I play Elite Dangerous.
So, but I have had a chance to try Amazon Luna. Um, I played it last night. I played some Devil May Cry. I tried it on both my phone and my computer. Surprisingly, the phone experience was better than the computer. The computer has a significant amount more input lag than the phone.
Really?
Yeah, now Amazon does sell their own controller, and their controller works with all game
No.
systems too. But I'm not
Sushi
going to
Cane.
pay $49.99 for an Amazon controller.
Yeah, I read about that. I'm like, it's $49.99 if you bundled it with Amazon Luna, but if you just flat out buy the controller, you're looking at close to like $80. I'm like, you gotta be joking. Like, granted, they're all saying it has built-in Wi-Fi and everything, and
But that
like
only
all
works
like
with Luna.
exactly. And for me, I'm like, I just getting like the built-in Wi-Fi just so you can play Amazon Luna like on a control, like from the controller and everything. It doesn't seem worth it. I'm like, I'll take the like think it was like 3.3 seconds or milliseconds of
I,
latency from a regular controller versus the Amazon Luna controller. I'm like, I'll take the difference. I don't care.
yeah, I think it's actually. Hold on, I have it pulled up in my dock here. It's like 13 to 27 milliseconds or something like that. It's really not that much better. And even having the Amazon controller, what I can say, playing it on my Windows PC, it would still be too much input lag.
For me, like I couldn't see forking out that money because I can go buy an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller and just use that and deal with it. It's like the same. Basic. I look at it as the same thing as using a mouse and a keyboard. Like one mouse might give you better like results than another, but I can't justify spending an additional $30 or more on a mouse that might give me better, like maybe one or two more kills in a game I play. Same with the controller. I'm just like, just give me the regular controller and I'm fine. I will make it work. I will survive.
Well, my name is Dirt Cheap Gaming, so I honestly go with the cheapest stuff I can find. I mean, my monitors that I'm running, I have two monitors down here. They're TVs I bought off Craigslist for $20 a piece.
I can't like say anything because my top monitor before I replaced it was a Blaupunk LCD TV. I ended up pulling out of a recycling dumpster out the job I worked for, and it still worked. It did fine, but I finally got rid of it because the power button, like the actual button you push on the side, finally disappeared, and using a pin top to turn on the TV turned into a big problem after like 3 months. I'm like, I gotta get a new TV, well, a new monitor.
And
Yeah, I would probably get a new one at that point. Anytime you
Yes.
gotta, grab a staple and start straightening it out to turn the TV on. That's not a good
Yeah.
experience.
Well, like for me, because I have two monitors. I have the one I game on, and above me is the monitor that's just strictly for my OBS when I like stream. But other than that, when, as like you've guessed from my lovely background, I'm in my bedroom. So for me, like my nighttime is when my kids are in bed, I turn something on my top monitor because I replaced it with a Samsung. Oh Lord, I would tell you exactly what it is if I could freaking remember it. It's like a Samsung monitor, but it actually comes with a controller that I can access Netflix, Prime Video, um, actual web browser, a whole lot more other crap as well. I picked that up on sale, and I'm like, I love it. I can't complain. It's great.
But
Like,
we should
yeah,
probably get back on topic here.
yeah.
We're good at getting distracted.
Exactly. What like one thing with the Amazon Luna I was noticing was like they give you the option for six, not the option, but they give you six categories. Would it be categories or channels or
They
game?
call them channels.
Yeah. For me, that's a little weird. I'm like, why would it be a game channel? But anyways,
Well, and looking at the probably what I would consider the best priced one for what you get is their Luna Plus. Now, right now it's $5.99. At
yeah,
$5.99, that might be worth it, but on April 1st it goes up to $9.99.
that's the thing. Like I was reading the same article that you are talking about that you sent me, and it's $5.99. So if you get the Luna Plus now at the $5.99, and you end up as of April 1st, if you've already been paying the $5.99, yeah, the $5.99, you still pay the $5.99 after April 1st if you have been signed up before April 1st.
See, and at $5.99, it's almost worth it. Once you get to $9.99, I'm going to pay for Game Pass.
Well, yeah, that I definitely understand.
You know,
Like if you're coming in after April 1st, you're going to pay the basically $10. But like I said, before April 1st, once you've signed up before April 1st, you're paying the 5.9 base. Well, might as well say $6. So it's not bad. But the thing is, like, if you're going in just like as a regular person and not going like for the whole Luna Plus package, then you got to pay for the individual channels. And I think the most expensive one I was reading is, oh God, what is it?
it's
Ubisoft?
$17.99. Yeah.
Yeah, this is $17.99 for Ubisoft. And I like for me, I'm like at that point, I would not do it.
Well, and you don't even need Amazon Luna for that. You can go to ub.com and sign up for Ubisoft.
Exactly.
Ubisoft Plus for $17.99, or if you want to download the games, you can just sign up for the Ubisoft subscription for $15. But for me to have all the games by the same studio, I'm going to get bored. I mean,
Exactly.
the thing about Xbox is they own so many game studios. You get your Bethesda titles. I'm trying to think of a couple other ones, but you have multiple games coming out and first day releases coming out. But Amazon Luna, you're not going to get first day releases. Ubisoft Plus, you're only going to get Ubisoft games, and I like some Ubisoft games, but they all tend to be very similar. There's not a lot of
Exactly.
variety.
For me, like I've owned like when it comes to Ubisoft, I have Assassin's Creed and Far Cry 5. That's honestly about it. And I never really go much else.
I mean, I have a bunch. I have every Assassin's Creed. I have every Far Cry game. Now, with that being said, I have not played most of these games. Um, I have every Watch Dogs, game released.
Like for me, like the one that caught my eye, like the one channel was the retro channel. Because it didn't really give you much information. Again, granted, the article gave you a whole lot of like a list of games, and I'm like, what does the retro channel involve? Like, what games are we talking about here? Can I like say I want to relive my childhood and play freaking Mario or Super Mario Brothers from back in the day with the old school Nintendo, or freaking the Super NES games? Like, can I play Mega Man? Like, are we talking retro like that, or
I can
even
almost
farther?
guarantee anything by Nintendo is not on there.
That's a most definite, probably not. But it's like when I say like think retro, I think old school. Like I grew up with a Nintendo. I'm sure everybody about our age all grew up with a Nintendo, probably even an Atari at one point in time.
I found a list. I found a list of the games, and it has Pong on there. That's how retro it gets.
Okay, so they're throwing way back into Atari.
Pong, Asteroids.
Oh God.
I mean, they have King of Fighters 1998, King of Fighters 2002. So all the games look like they're probably 2002 or before.
Okay, so they're not going back to like what we know as a childhood.
I think they're going probably before our childhood and after our childhood. Uh,
Well, that's the thing. Like for me, like I said, I had an Atari and a freaking Nintendo. Like, so for me, when I think retro, I think old school freaking turn Atari freaking controller or the little joystick, and I'm like, okay, we can make it work.
I will say there are four things on here that look good to me. One is the Contra Anniversary Collection. I loved Contra when I was a kid.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But you can pick that up on Steam for literally like dirt cheap.
Wait till it's on sale, pick it up for like $1.
Yeah, exactly.
Castlevania Anniversary Collection. Same thing. You can pick it up on Steam, dirt cheap.
Exactly.
1942 and Ghosts and Ghouls. Those are the games on here that stand out to me as, hey, I played those when I was a kid, but I own all of them on Steam.
Exactly. So you can pick them up dirt cheap on Steam, but now for like the younger generation that grew up in the 2000s or hell, even the late 1990s, like it might be good for them. But honestly, I couldn't see like you got to pay for each channel, right? Unless you get the Luna Plus.
Well, you pay, well, even if you get the Luna Plus, you still pay for each channel. The Luna Plus is its own channel.
Yeah, see, that's the thing then. Like they're just trying to get like squeeze you for more money. So in a way, I like what they're trying to bring, but the whole it reminds me of like Amazon Prime Video. If you want to watch a bunch of horror movies, they have their own horror channel, but you have to pay extra for that. And I love horror movies, but I cannot see spending. I forget what the horror channel costs for Prime Video,
I think it's like
and
$2.99 or something.
I think it's just, in my opinion, it's another way for them to squeeze more money out of you.
Yeah, it's there's a lot with Amazon. A lot of different channels you can get with Amazon Prime, and they're using the same pricing model for Luna. But I think we can agree that our consensus is probably not worth it, at least not at this time.
At the moment, unless they do something to make it really worthwhile, it's honestly, I think it's a waste. I like what they're trying to achieve, but you've got, let's see, you've got Microsoft Game Pass. You can essentially do the same thing with Ubisoft. You can do the same thing. I think Nvidia has something similar as
You can do
well.
PS Now for $60 a year.
Exactly. So in a way, it's like I see what they're trying to do because it's basically cloud gaming, like at the touch of a finger. But it's they got to do something to make it worthwhile to their future customers, because you're already paying $10 for one thing. Then, oh, I want this channel. That's another $6. Or say you wanted Ubisoft, that's $18. So now you're up to $28. And if you wanted all the channels, God knows how much you'll pay in the end. Plus,
Uh,
oh, can't forget if you buy the controller, so you're already about $100 deep.
yeah, I mean, I think I look at it like, it could be worth it if they, from what I read somewhere, the Luna Prime's supposed to get up to about 300 games. That might be worth it depending on the games. But
Exactly.
at the state it's in right now, it's the next Google Stadia. It's just destined to fail.
Well, Amazon, they'll throw a bunch of money at it. Hopefully, it'll end up working.
I mean,
What's up, Dragon? Thank you for stopping in.
they'll probably get it eventually, just because Amazon is not the type to give up.
Well, exactly. They've pushed through and managed to release one decent game. But as of right now, I think a lot of people just need to wait and see what comes of it. I know there's going to be people that it's brand new, I have to have it. So we'll use them as testers.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I might look at it in like a year and see how it's doing, but for right now, I'm just gonna pass.
I've got to pass, because it's only in America.
It will be in Germany eventually.
Well, hopefully one day, like in another 2 years.
So, how much do you know about this Nintendo removing Switch emulation videos on Steam Deck?
Um, I was reading the article, and it just sounds. It sounds like Nintendo is just doing whatever they can, really, to take the focus away from that the Nintendo, not the Nintendo Switch, but the Steam Deck is basically, in all honesty, a way better version than a Nintendo Switch. Like, for me, I love Nintendo, so I would consider getting like a Nintendo Switch, because there's games that are only on Nintendo. That example, Zelda. I love Zelda games. I love Smash Brothers. I love Mario. I can't play them on my computer. I can't play them on a PlayStation, on an Xbox. I have to get a Switch. So for them to try to take focus away by removing any picture, video, or throwing up copyright claims for anything on YouTube that's got a Steam Deck and a Nintendo Switch side by side, I understand what they're doing, because they're trying to keep the focus and the profit in their company's pocket. Because let's be honest, after the Wii, Nintendo has just kind of gone downhill, to be honest. For me, the last good Nintendo console was the Nintendo 64. I wasn't a fan of the GameCube. So anybody, please forgive me. I'm sorry, I wasn't a fan of GameCube. So Nintendo, I think, is doing everything they can to hold on to any kind of profit margin they can with this whole copyright claims.
I mean, here's the thing. I like Nintendo games. I like their products. I think the Switch is a cool product. I won't buy one because Nintendo is notoriously anti-consumer. And
Exactly.
those anti-consumer practices are what I don't like about Nintendo. They're one of the most innovative companies and come out with things that other game companies don't even imagine, yet they're stuck 20 years in the past.
I have to agree.
And I mean, that's the biggest problem with Nintendo. The other thing I question about that, they're using copyright to pull these videos down. Now, here's the thing with that. They don't have a copyright on the emulation software. They don't have a copyright on any game not produced by Nintendo. So if they're demonstrating a game like Zelda or Mario that was created by Nintendo, Nintendo does have the copyright. They have every right to use that copyright claim. But if they're playing a game and streaming a game on their Switch by Capcom, if Nintendo's using the copyright system to get that taken down, they're not using it legally.
Well, yeah, I have to agree with that. But like for like an example, if somebody have like playing a Capcom game like Resident Evil, I don't even know if Resident Evil's on the Switch. Like the newer ones, like the Village and the remakes. Since that's Capcom, and I know you can play those games on the Steam Deck. Like if they're comparing like the graphics and everything side by side, and you're posting the video on YouTube, as a YouTuber, you can fight that copyright claim, but it's going to be a strike against you until I guess YouTube or whatever platform you're using sides in your favor. But you're going up against Nintendo. It's a very big uphill battle. So like the whole thing is I don't think anybody's fighting back against Nintendo for doing this. I think they're just letting it happen because it's Nintendo. They're realizing you can't fight a big company like this unless you are willing to lose.
Well, and you absolutely can fight them if you know how to do it. What a lot of people don't realize about the copyright system, okay, somebody gives you a copyright claim on a DMCA takedown notice on YouTube. Now, YouTube has to take that down because they're legally required to comply with the DMCA. So, what you can do is challenge it. Now, when you challenge it, the concept is that whatever company you're challenging will take a look at it and decide if you're actually violating copyright and then get back. And if you're not violating copyright, they'll be like, okay, put your video back up. Or what I imagine in most case happens with big companies, they're like, huh, we got challenged, no, click. And they challenge it back, essentially. At which point in time, you can challenge it again. They either have to put your video back up or take you to court. Now, I would be perfectly willing to let Nintendo take me to court over a copyright they don't own and then countersue them.
Yeah, I can see that, but a lot of people, it's like once you hit that whole okay, they're taking me to court kind of thing, a lot of people are going to back off
Well, right, court's
because
scary, it's
one,
stressful.
yeah, it's going to cost you money, it's stressful, and God knows if by some chance that you lose, God knows what Nintendo, their lawyers will decide to do against you.
But I would do it, and that's not like I have a lot of money or anything. Um, I am about proving points, and that is a point that I truly believe needs to be proven in Nintendo is they don't control everything. Like I said, if it's their game, they published it, they have every right to have it taken down by copyright. It's stupid because it's actually giving them more exposure, which is why most game companies don't do that. There are a couple stupid ones. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Well, I have to agree. Like for me, it's pardon my language. Like honestly a dick move on Nintendo's part
Absolutely.
because yes, granted, the Steam Deck is, I would say it's a great idea. And this is in my opinion, it is basically what was it, a PSP on steroids? Is like the best way to describe it. Because PlayStation brought out a handheld what years ago? I think it was the PSP, and the Steam Deck is just it's basically the same thing, just on steroids. It's a small, literally a handheld computer that allows you to play your Steam library on something. Granted, it's got some freaking awesome hardware under it, so I can see why a lot of people would go with the Steam Deck than the Nintendo Switch. But granted, Nintendo, all they got to do is just come out with something that can compete against it. It's not that hard. The technology is out there.
Yeah, but Nintendo only likes to release a product every 15 years.
Oh God, yes.
Actually, I think it's closer to 10, but I'm exaggerating a little bit. But you know,
Yeah,
they release products that people like, and can sustain them for a long time without a whole lot of adaptability. And even though their systems are weaker than an Xbox or a PlayStation, they don't have the same processing power. They manage to do things that are innovative enough that people still buy them. Now, with the Switch and the Steam Deck, you now have something that looks almost exactly like the Switch, that has the same versatility as the Switch. Nintendo's in
exactly.
trouble until they innovate again. And a Switch Pro is not going to do it.
No, like for me, like I like the concept of the Switch because you can play it at home, you can play it on the go. I like what they did with it, but like they're look for me, Nintendo, I think, is looking at more of a market where they're looking at people mainly going to be in their home because a lot of people won't really go take their Switch out of the house unless by some chance you're a kid that has to ride the bus for a while. You might take it with you, but even then, in America, there's a chance you're going to get jacked for it, and then you got to deal with your parents. Here, like for me, here in Germany, we don't have school buses here, so you're riding public buses. And like my kids, they got to ride, I think, 15, 20 minutes, give or take, for their bus to get to the school. But they're also waiting on their bus for a good bit too. So I can see the Switch being useful here. But again, that's you're limiting your what games you can play because it's only Nintendo games. Now, with what the Steam Deck offers, they're offering you any game that you can buy on Steam and you can play it. But I think it ultimately needs to come down to its price. And I think last I checked, I think the Nintendo Switch was better on price than the Steam Deck. Also availability right now too.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely better in price. There's no doubt about that. Um, but the Steam Deck does so much more.
Yeah, I understand that. It's for me like what would push me to go with the Steam Deck, to be honest, is if I can if I can play all the games that let's use Epic Games Store as a example here because they have currently like Tiny Tina's Wonderland is only Epic Game Store available. You can't even buy that game this month on Steam. It just says, well, like you can go to Steam and you can put it on your wish list, but there's no date when it will be available to purchase. So, like for me, it's like, can I play my Epic Game Store games on the Steam Deck? Can I play other games that I know Assassin's Creed? You need Ubisoft. Anything that takes Origin, like Mass Effect here. Like, how does all this work with the Steam Deck?
Uh, the thing about the Steam Deck is it's an open system. You can install Windows on it and run anything.
Ah,
I mean, a Steam Deck is literally just a small computer.
so basically, it's a cell phone with built-in controllers, minus the everything else the phone can do.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider it more a computer than a cell phone. I mean, it has the USB ports. It has a display out. You can plug it into a regular TV. You could plug in a keyboard and mouse, and you have a full-fledged computer in front of you.
Huh. But what's the price comparison? What last I think I heard it was what $300 or something or more.
Oh, more than that. I mean,
Is
there's
it up
three
there with
different models,
PlayStation?
and I wouldn't get the lowest priced one. It's $399 for the 64 gig, but it has slower storage space. Five.
Well, like for me, like the whole thing when it comes to like the Steam Deck, like you might as well just get the highest gig freaking memory and everything you can get.
And that's what people have been doing. The highest tier one has outsold the other ones by far.
Yeah, I can understand. It's like when PlayStation 3 came out, the original PlayStation 3, we're talking about the Fat Daddy here. It had what, a 64 gig, I think it was a 64 gig hard drive or something like that. And within a year, the thing's full, depending on how many games you played.
So, but yeah, the back to what we were talking about. I think Nintendo's behavior is reprehensible. Is the best word I can use.
I think it's childish, to be honest. You're you're a company that's been around for so many years, like, and you are anybody that's as old as we are can. If somebody asks, "Oh, do you know Nintendo?" Yes, we know Nintendo. We grew up with them. We've seen what they can do, what they can bring out as a company, and to act as childish as they're doing with these whole remove copyright claims and everything for videos and photos, it's childish.
Suing people for ROMs that they don't even sell anymore. Like, there's no way to play the game unless you have the ROM because Nintendo's just decided, hey, we don't want this to exist anymore. So people get the ROMs, and then Nintendo goes after them for it.
Exactly.
So that's why I will not do business with Nintendo. I don't want anything to do with them. But I do think that the Switch was a cool idea when it came out.
For me, like the only reason I would go like get anything from Nintendo, like it would be a Switch, but that would literally be to only play Mario or Zelda because I love Zelda, and that's about it. But I can't see paying the price that they want for a Nintendo Switch. And that covers roughly half the price for a PlayStation 5 or Xbox.
My wife wants to get one just to play Pokemon.
Oh God.
I'm like, seriously, you want to spend like $350 to play Pokemon? Yep.
I
Okay.
would like. I can't say anything. I would spend the $350. Well, I can't say I would buy it brand new. I would buy it used, and I mean used. I would scour my local freaking market online and find one that's roughly like €100 or something. I don't care. It doesn't have to be OLED. As long as I can play the new Zelda on it, that's all I would care.
So, yeah. What do you think about this artisan builds thing? Did you hear about that before I told you about it?
I think right before you like told me about it, I saw because I follow Jay's 2 Cent on Twitch as well. I mean on Twitter, and he posted some like a snit like the clip from the video that the girl posted, and I read his comments, and I'm like, what is going on? Like it was very confusing because not knowing what like is happening, I'm watching this video, and I'm like, what did I just like witness? And I had to watch it about 5 times to realize that they're giving away a PC, and what they're talking about, how this girl doesn't have one click on the link or that's on her panels, and granted she's an ambassador, but because she's have no clicks that they're re-rolling for the giveaway. I'm like, that is like really wrong. Like I was outraged because
Absolutely.
like I'm involved with when it comes to giveaways. Every year I'm in Gigabyte, Asus, MSI, EVGA, any of the name like all the computer companies around here in Germany do giveaways every year for basically 2 months. And
Wow.
one year I was involved in a giveaway with Gigabyte, and they said the person's name who won, and I'm like, yo, that's me. But they didn't give a last name, and I fought them tooth and nail. I'm like, you called my name. They're like, but there was another person with the same name. I'm like, but you didn't specify a last name. And I just gave up. I'm like, I will never do business with y'all because of how y'all are handling this. I'm like, if I didn't win, fine. I don't care. I'm like, you need to specify the person's last name. But back to the topic, this is a Twitch stream that is basically known for building PCs live on stream and doing giveaways. That's what they're doing. They've got Intel plastered all over their like freaking panel, like overlay. They get parts from companies and they're going to sit here and how they basically talked when they're like, oh, she doesn't have any clicks on the panel. I'm like, this is wrong. I'm like, you literally, she won out of all the people that are involved. She won. It doesn't matter how many people, like how many clicks she's gotten on the link or whatnot. And I'm like, as a company, and that was what the CEO that was
That was
doing
the
this.
CEO, and then he went off on her.
I thought, yeah, I'm like, you are the CEO of this, and you're acting like this. Who is the dude building the PC? Not like stepping up and like saying it doesn't matter how much like clicks she's got on the link. She should like she won. It doesn't matter. He just went along with it. He's like reroll. I'm like, what in the hell? It literally made me so mad. And I've seen Intel actually, like Intel has actually posted an article about it and how they are completely outraged with Artisan Builds for how they acted and handled this. And they've publicly apologized to her. I know Artisan Builds has emailed her and basically told her, we are giving you the PC. And I'm like, okay, after all the shit and everything that y'all dug your grave, now you're going to come through and, oh, we're going to give you the PC. Like, she emailed him back, said, no, I don't want the PC anymore. Take me off your ambassador list. I will not watch y'all. I am unfollowing y'all.
Okay, so people who don't know about this, just to give you the main story, a company called Artisan Builds, who is a custom-made computer builder, does Twitch stream giveaways, and the requirements that they listed is you have to be an ambassador. This girl, who I cannot pronounce her name still, let me see, I'm going to find it here. I follow her on Twitch now. Actually, moral of the story, so do 27,000 other people.
Holy
She went
oh
from
God,
like 1,000 to like 27,000 when this happened. So there is a lot of positive that came out. Her name's Kaipia. I don't know if that's pronouncing it right, but she was selected to win a PC. Then they decided to change the rules midstream and say, oh, wait. No, you haven't received any link clicks, so you're not bringing us business, even though you have our banner posted on the stream. So we're not going to give you the PC. We're going to have to give it to someone else because we're changing the rules.
that's like the thing. She can't control like anybody clicking on this stuff. She can't make them do it.
Right. Jay's 2 cents stepped in after she had posted on Twitter and said, hey, don't worry about this. I got you. I'll build you a PC. And she already has the PC. I mean, it was quick. This just happened like a week ago. She already has the PC. It was incredibly quick how much he stepped in. And that made me, that increased my respect for Jay's 2 cents just for doing that.
Like, for me, like I've followed Jace 2 Cent on YouTube. I follow him on Twitter, and like I know what he has lying around his shop, and I'm pretty damn sure he built her a better PC than what she would have got from Artisan Builds.
Well, actually, the Artisan Builds PCs, it turns out, they've been underclocking their GPUs because they have cooling problems and doing some other shady stuff too. So if you decide to buy a computer, here's the moral of the story. Don't go to Artisan Builds. They're scummy, and they will give you a crappy system. At least that's what I've heard. I cannot confirm.
Like for me, like when it comes to like systems, like buying them from well, Artisan builds, it would be considered. I would rank them up there as like a pre-built system. But like my thing is like, what are their prices? Like even if without knowing like the underclocking and everything, like granted, I wouldn't buy from them after what they've done here. Like for me, it's like I don't know. Like I'm at a loss for words here when it comes to how they like what happened with this poor girl and how a company that is known for doing giveaways and doing this, it's like makes me wonder, is this the first time they've done it? Like how they treated her. It's how like my whole thing is okay, you need to be an ambassador. Well, do you need to be an ambassador for a set amount of time? Do you have to like I understand their rules, but it like nowhere in their rules did it say you have to have clicks from the link. You need to like all the crap that they did. It's just ridiculous. And I don't think she's the only one they re-rolled on either.
She might have just been the only person who stepped up. You
Because I
know,
know they did like went into the what was it, analytics or something in the video, and they're going over it, and it's just like honestly, I'm right there with you. I would not buy anything from Artisan Builds. There's more than enough companies out there that can do a pre-built system and give you better quality and a better reassurance and peace of mind for the money that you're forking out, because guaranteed you're forking out a couple $1,000s already. Like I know NZXT give you a decent build and you get pretty decent like warranty and customer service with them. It's like if their customer service for Artisan Builds is anything like what happened in this video, I'm pretty sure they're going to lose a lot of business.
oh, they've already lost a lot of streamers that aren't following them anymore. Just in case whoever's watching on my screen, I know that Jester can't see it. I did just put on my screen, follow on Twitch, Kapia. Go follow her.
Yeah.
She deserves it. She pointed out the atrocities that the company was committing. Give her a follow. Join the other 26,000 other people who have followed her in the last week. And I did watch some of her streams actually this morning. She's pretty good. She's pretty entertaining.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad the Twitch community and well the whole PC community is like rallied behind her and dropped as many followers and everything for her. But like when I mean like what like for the Artisan Builds, it's not just the Twitch community that they're losing. They have companies that give them parts to do these builds that are giving the company like
I know
not
Intel is
vision,
thinking
but
about backing out.
like not notoriety. I'm at a loss, honestly, a loss for words here.
I mean,
But
they've just given
like
themselves a bad reputation.
exactly, and the companies are going to pull out and be like, no, they're going to distance themselves from this dumpster fire that's now happening.
Their larger streamers, a lot of their streamers have pulled out. From what I was reading, I know Intel was investigating and questioning whether they were going to pull out. Last I read, and I'm sure there's other companies too that are looking at this, going, "No, we don't want to be associated with that."
Yeah, and like in these times, there's a good chance that that company just burnt every bridge that they've got. And it's going to take a freaking miracle for them to save any relationship with any of the companies that give them parts.
Well, you are going to have to excuse my language here. They are dumbass, scummy motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it right there. They're dumbass, scummy motherfuckers.
I have to agree on that one. Like I didn't even know it like there was a Twitch channel out there that did like live builds and whatnot.
There's more than one, actually. And, most of them are pretty legit, but they've shown their true colors, even after the fact. They've never really apologized, They just kept reiterating, "Oh, we changed the rules because we need business, but we're going to try to treat all our streamers going forward just fine."
We changed the rules because we need business. I'm sorry, you need business. You're currently in a market in today's world where semiconductors, chip shortages, and everything. You're not the only company out there suffering from this. So don't my like whole thing is don't say, well, we need the business. I don't care if you need the business. When people can't afford to buy like $1,000 computer or whatnot, don't go sitting here being a dick about it and screw people over that actually want a giveaway. Like follow through. Okay, they didn't have clicks on their link. Follow through with okay, this person won. We're gonna get their piece like information and everything and send you out your PC. That right there would show more respect from the smaller streamers and community. They'll be like, okay, these guys are awesome. They're backing a small streamer that doesn't get a lot of traffic through their channel. That's going to like help that channel out even more. But no, they wanted to be a dick and literally just do what they did.
I mean, here's the thing: if they would have given her the PC, she probably would have been like, "Hey, this is my PC I got from Artisan. Hey, they gave me this PC. Hey, these are great guys."
Yeah, right. It's like I like she would
Positive.
honestly like give them so much props for it. I won this awesome, amazing PC from Artisan Builds, and that would funnel more freaking revenue. Well, not revenue, but people through that their websites and everything. But now they're getting a lot of hate for what they could have just honestly saved themselves a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, they just missed the point completely. I mean, that's I can leave it at that Artisan builds are scummy motherfuckers. Follow Capilla.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Just drop her a follow. Like for a lot of people, like for me, once my month is up for my Prime membership with my one of my friends, I'm gonna go over to her channel and drop my 1 month free Prime sub to her.
So, okay, so what do you know about the Nvidia hack? How much information do you have on it?
That is actually something that's I've been reading up on, and with everything that's going on for me, um, I like it's something I've laughed about. I'm like, oh, Nvidia, a big company, gets hacked by this group.
Lapsus, I
I,
think is their name.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
But I'm like,
Lapsus.
they're blackmailing Nvidia, basically saying release the drivers for the crypto hash rates publicly, or we're going to leak your basically your blueprint for your graphics cards, like your RTX cards, the materials you use, everything you do. And it's just like, really, how is this going to go? And I'm like, I don't think Nvidia is really going to bat an eye about it or whatnot. And as
They
like for me to this day, I still don't know if Nvidia actually like followed through with what Nvidia has done.
I mean, there's so much mixed information because Nvidia doesn't really talk. I mean, it took them 3 or 4 days, actually, I think longer than that, just to say, "Hey, an incident happened and we're investigating." But there's so many mixed results. So the first thing that I read about it was Nvidia got hacked and hacked the hackers back. I don't
Yeah,
know if
they
it actually happened, but the hackers did claim that Lapsus claimed that Nvidia actually hacked them back and encrypted the data so they couldn't read it. Unfortunately, they did have backups of that.
like that's like no. From what I was reading, yeah, the Lapsus has the backups, like everything that they got backed up. So Nvidia might have ruined what was on like a computer, but they've got backups of everything that is still clean.
You know,
So
the next weird thing is most of the time you have ransomware attacks, it's for money. They're saying we want the hash rate limiter removed and we want open source drivers.
Yeah, it's like, well, in a way, I guess it would be money because they can sit there and mine crypto on whatever they have and make literally butt tons of money hand over fist without having a limiter on their freaking graphics card.
Now, here's something that I didn't know until today, though, and this is actually important for people to know. With that, they also got a bunch of NVIDIA certificates, which means they can make drivers with malware in them and put a valid certificate on there so it goes right past Windows Defender.
Well,
Windows
that's
Defender
not
won't check
good.
it because it's a valid certificate, but yeah, there can easily be drivers going out with malware in them, and that's something to be aware
Like
of.
my whole thing with the possible driver, like the malware loaded up driver, because I get my updates for my graphics card through the Nvidia, God, the GeForce Experience. There we go. Now, like, would that, like, the possible malware loaded up driver make it to that?
In theory, no, because I mean, if you're getting it off the website itself, the actual NVIDIA website, it probably won't be an issue. But it could be an issue for people who sometimes get their drivers from other places.
Well, like for me, like from what I understand about hackers, they no matter what they do, like they might get in, and when they get out, I don't think they always close out completely. I think they always leave like a back door they can get back in that might be hard to find. So if they can get back into NVIDIA's thing and load up like the GeForce experience with bad drivers with loaded up malware, they can essentially screw over a lot of people.
Well, they did leave a back door, and that's how NVIDIA hacked them. Because they still
Ah,
had one of their computers logged into NVIDIA's stuff, and NVIDIA hacked them. At least, like I said, it's all rumor. I just thought it was interesting. A whole lot of drama. Supposedly, LabSUS has also released the emails and passwords for 72,000 of NVIDIA's employees,
oh my God, that's a nightmare.
and they have more to release because they have been releasing stuff. They've released the DLSS diagram and code,
Yeah.
which that's big for NVIDIA because that makes it where other companies can take it and replicate it.
Well, once that's released, that's kind of bad for NVIDIA. They're going to have to start pulling out some more tricks out of some hats.
They've
I
made it.
know.
Oh, go ahead.
What was that?
I was going to say they've also made a driver that increases the hash rate limiter. So instead of being limited to 20% hash rate, you're limited to 40%.
Okay. that's
So
that's like crazy. I know after the hack and everything, I know NVIDIA's stock like crashed. A lot of the people that are like holding lots of shares like that actually can move like NVIDIA, like they're bored with them dumping their shares. That put a hurt in NVIDIA, not in just like a threat, but actually in their pocket.
yeah, so I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt Nvidia long term or anything, but it's definitely doing some damage right now. Um, I thought the whole thing was interesting because there are so many conflicting things that I've read, and it's mostly because Nvidia doesn't talk. Nvidia doesn't say what was stolen. Nvidia doesn't really want to give any information out, and it may just be they want to wait till they're sure. But the rumors, at least, are crazy.
Like for me, I think it's weird because, like you said, NVIDIA doesn't talk. So NVIDIA is just staying quiet. Ah, give me a minute. Yeah, NVIDIA is being quiet about this. Yeah, serious emotional scars. But with NVIDIA being quiet, it makes it very hard for their clientele to really trust them right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't have too much more to say on that. Like I said, I thought it was interesting just because of the amount of rumors, the amount of different circulation going around. It could turn out that only 20% of it is true. So, don't
I
take
honestly just think it's funny.
don't take anything about this Nvidia hack that I've said verbatim, because Nvidia hasn't talked. All Nvidia said is we're investigating an incident. Okay, so I promised a Mass Effect legendary giveaway, which I will actually give it away. Whoever gets drawn, you get the game. We're not going to do an artisan builds. I give games away almost every day at this point. Well, actually, every day at this point. But it will go back down to a couple times a week soon. So let me get into chat here, see who we got. Last time I checked, we only had 2 people on here. We have Nexus Kaio and Arcade Bang. Now, since there's only 2 people, we're going to do this the simple way. Assuming I can find a coin. Somehow I don't own a coin. Here we go, coin. Quarter. We're going to say Arcade Bang is heads and Nexus Kaio is tails. Nexus Kaio, you have won Mass Effect Legendary Edition. If you follow me on Twitter, go ahead and send me a DM and I'll send you your key over. If you don't follow me on Twitter, I'll try to direct message you here. You're welcome. You follow me on Twitter? Okay, go ahead and send me a DM on Twitter. I'll send you your key back. It'll probably be about 15 minutes or so, just because I got to wrap up this podcast really quick. Okay, awesome. Yeah, send me the DM and we will get you your game. Now, speaking of Mass Effect Legendary Edition, now we have your screen on. My screen is not on the thing right now because I thought it would be cluttered to put both screens. So I mean, I can see you haven't had much time to play. We've been talking. Just from what you've seen so far, what are your first impressions of the game? Uh-oh, your microphone died.
Hear me?
There you are. You just came back.
This mic, I'm telling you, it's a pain in my ass. I think it's decent. Like the graphics look, well, the cutscene graphics look good for. God, I don't know how old is this game?
Well, the Legendary Edition just came out last year. The original one is from 2012, I think. Yep, there you go again. Okay, nope. Still gone. Okay, his mic cut out. I'll go ahead and talk about this a little bit while he works on that. I've been playing a little bit. I'm a little bit further in the game than he is. Not much. I did play the original Mass Effect, so I am not new to the game. The graphics updates are amazing. I've noticed some slight dialogue changes, but overall, from what I've seen so far, it looks pretty good. Now, you're only talking about probably a total of 15 minutes of gameplay in the hour and 41 minutes we've been doing this podcast. But my first impression is it's pretty good. I would recommend giving it a try, especially if you have Game Pass and you can try
All
it for
right.
free. Oh, he's back.
Haha. All right. So they've basically just upgraded the graphics with the legendary, right?
They've upgraded the graphics. They have changed some dialogue, um, and done some minor plot changes, but nothing that is major.
Okay, well that's not bad.
Yeah, it is essentially the original game. Like I said, there are a couple changes in there, and like Mass Effect 3, it doesn't have the multiplayer that the original did. Um, I don't know if you could hear when I was going through my review, but there's it's essentially the original game with a lot better graphics. I mean, they didn't like a lot of times you see updated games. They're like, oh, the HD edition, and they come out and you're like, hey, it looks the same.
Like for me, like I've never played this game, like even when it did come out on the console. So the graphics look good. I'll say it was made by what, Bungie, right?
Bungie, EA, yeah.
So I don't think it's bad. I think it's nice because like it reminds me of a more like the roughly the same graphics that the new Halo has.
Let me check on that. Actually, I don't think Mass Effect was actually made by Bungie. I think it was just made by EA.
It was made by Bungie. I could be wrong, so please, any Mass Effect fans, please forgive me.
Yeah, I know it's published by EA. That does not mean it wasn't made by Bungie, since Bungie is often subcontracted.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look it up and see. Um, but yeah, I mean, my opinion on the game from what I have played is it looks like a wonderful update to the original Mass Effect series. If you played the original Mass Effect, right now you can pick it up for like $10. I know because I did earlier, so I could give it away. Or it's also in the Humble Bundle right now. So if you subscribe to Humble Bundle, you'll go ahead and get the Mass Effect Legendary Edition,
Well, I
along with
think
7 other
getting it
games.
from the Humble Bumble edition would be the Humble. Oh my God, the Humble Bundle edition would be worth it because that's at least going to a good cause. Because I know most of the profit they make goes to charities and foundations.
That's where I got your copy.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is actually where I got your copy from. Um, Humble Bundle is actually a cool service. I have it $12 a month. I get 8 games. They're a surprise every month. But last month I got Borderlands 3, which I already had and I gave away. This month I got Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which I already have, so I gave away. Um, but I also got Desperados 3 and some other games that are I will eventually play, maybe. There is disadvantages to have once you get over the 2,000 game mark. You just can't play them all.
Oh yeah, that's like for the Humble Bumble. Oh my God, the Humble Bundle. Like you get a good bit of games, and to be honest, I know friends that have been signed up with them for years, and they every year they'll give out a list of games to like their Discord and be like, if you want a key to one of these games, let me know. There's like they tell them like we do not have the time to play all these games.
Yeah, I mean, I got Man of Medan in this one too, and I've been looking forward to playing Man of Medan. So I will probably try to stream that sometime soon. I just gave it to someone recently. Oh, I gave it to Lobo. I gave him a game because he was my #1 Twitter follower.
Awesome.
So I know he's on my Twitch sometimes. Maybe I'll see if he wants to play since it's co-op.
Like the one thing I'm noticing that's like driving me nuts is when like in the cutscenes when they're talking, the graphics of them talking, like their mouth moving, does not line up in sync with the actual audio.
I'm not
Like,
noticing that on mine.
well, like for me, I mainly notice it with like the black, like the commander here, the black commander. Like his mouth doesn't open up a lot, so like it's weird. Like it you hear like the dialogue come, but like the mouth, like what you would hear and see, don't match up. It's like watching a dubbed, like an old dubbed version of Godzilla.
It's like when you're watching Netflix and you have to pause it and restart it so the audio relines up.
Yeah.
Because I know I have that actually pretty much every streaming service. I'll be watching it, and the longer I watch it, the more the audio gets off. So I'm like, okay, pause,
They're making
play.
sure they're making sure you're still awake.
Actually, my TV upstairs, it has a setting that you can set to like 1, 2, 3 seconds or half second, 1 second to help audio sync up with streams because sometimes they just don't sync up.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, and I've never seen it on a TV. I just got this TV last year. It's in my living room, but it's really kind of cool because it has a setting that you can set it for like a half second, 1 second, and it will take that and it will make the audio and the video sync up. Unfortunately, it doesn't work great because you could start a new show and then it doesn't sync up again, so you have to adjust it again. So,
Well, that's not good. It would be better if it was like constant.
but I think we're done. I think we made it.
Awesome.
So I think it's time to shut this down. Everybody have a good night. I look forward to hopefully you can tune in next week.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. I'm definitely glad I could help.
Hey, I
And
thank you for being on. You got to be on the first episode,
oh wow, I feel so privileged.
and we had some technical issues at first, but we got them worked out.
Yeah.
And now I know how to direct people how to do this again. So,
Hopefully, your future guest won't have problems with their microphone like I do.
yeah, it's actually, it didn't really act up till the end. It acted up before we started, and it acted up at the very end. But in between, you never had one issue. Hey, buddy.
He says, "Hey, buddy."
Have a good night, everybody.
I'm playing a game and I'm talking to